So today what I wanted to go over was one of the most fundamental movements in grappling, and that's called the hip escape. All right. So we went over a little bit of the bridge last time. So let's go over that a little bit. So from here, to bridge properly, using the concepts of connection, weight distribution, angle change, and leverage, right? So the first thing I want to do is create a leverage effect, right? A domino effect, and I do that by bowing my body. Okay, so the first thing I need to do is just like we covered last time, was bring the balls of the feet as close to the butt as possible. Right? Okay, I'm not very flexible, but this is as close as I can get. Some people get even closer, right? All right? But you want to get your balls of your feet and your heels as close to your butt as possible. And this is going to probably elevate your heels a little bit off the ground, which is okay, right? Now from this position, now my spine is, you see, it's not curved. So if it was like this, if it was curved, it would look like that. And I could stick my hand through this hole, right? This gap. This is no good. So I want to get rid of that by tucking my pelvic bone, right? And so you're going to do a pelvic tilt, right? And now from here it gets rid of that gap. Okay, so now we're good. We have a straight spine, right? Right? And then from here, the head is also the back of the neck. We're also going to tilt the chin towards our chest, and again, we're going to do a little tilt with the head to get that cobra hood, right? And you're going to keep the back of your head, right, planted on the ground, okay? And this is also going to straighten your neck, the very top of your neck where it connects to your spine, all right? So that is also, we also want that straight, right? Okay? So now so from here now, my balls of my feet are as close to my butt as possible. I'm going to keep my elbows one fist away from my body, so I don't want them planted to the side like this, okay? And I definitely don't want them out like this, right? Okay, so I'm going to tuck my arms to 70-degree angles, okay? 70-degree angle right here, right? And then one fist away from my body, okay? Now from here, when I have all of that, now I'm going to create the lever effect, or the domino effect. So the domino effect starts at the balls of my feet, and they're going to work towards my knees, to my hips, all the way down to my shoulders, to the ground, okay? So what I'm going to do is, first, I want to feel that connection of my balls of my feet to the ground, okay? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just connect that pressure domino up to my knees. Just, all you're going to do is elevate your hips just a little bit until you feel your balls of your feet and your knees, okay? So it's a tiny movement. You only see me moving tiny bit, but there, now I feel it. I feel the connection between the balls of my feet and the ground and to my knees. Now from here, I'm going to keep elevating until I get now from my knees. You have to hold this point now. You have to hold that connection. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to connect from my knees to my hips. There. Now I feel a connection from my heels to my knees, and now my knees to my hips. Okay, I feel it. Okay, now I'm going to go from there, and I'm going to go from there to my shoulders, right? Both shoulders. So now I'm going to go from my hips towards my shoulders until I feel a connection between my hips and my shoulders, right? Okay, and I'm going to keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it's got to be the back of the shoulder, okay? And there, now I feel it, okay? So now I have a connection between my balls and my feet. I dominoed from there to my knees, knees to my hips, and hips to my back of my shoulders, right? Elbows one fist away, and my hands are 70 degrees angle, 70 degrees, right? Okay, my spine is straight, right? And my head is down and my neck is tucked, all right? So that's the beginning part of what's called a hip escape, or it's called a shrimp, right? A bridge plus a hip escape equals a shrimp, okay? Two basic movements in grappling, okay? So now, one thing that when you do start to from that position, from the bridge position, when you start to shrimp, one of the keys that I learned from Henry Akins was to the head position. Okay, and this you can this is also really good because what it does is it clears the shoulder that you're going to rotate on. Okay, so basically what you're doing is once you've bridged, you're taking your head, right, and you're basically gonna say like no. Wait, is this is no? Wait, you're gonna go ear to ear. How about that? Okay, so you're gonna go ear to shoulder, right? So you go ear to shoulder, right? And then once you have this position, see how it clears the shoulder, the opposite shoulder. Then I'm going to go look over the other shoulder, okay? And that's the shoulder that I'm going to bridge over or shrimp over, right? Okay, so again, so you go ear to shoulder. Then you look over but my ear and my shoulder are still like they want to touch, okay? So when you look over your shoulder, your opposite shoulder, you still haven't moved that ear to shoulder, right? Okay, so don't do this. I see a lot of people do this. They go ear to shoulder, right? And then they look over to row, and then they move. They look over, but now they've left the ear and the shoulder again. See, so now there's a big gap over here. So this is no good. So ear to shoulder, and then look over the opposite shoulder. Okay, and that creates a huge surface area for you to rotate on, so that you don't hurt. So basically, so you don't rotate on the back of your neck. Okay, you don't want to do that, especially with somebody really heavy on top of you, a lot of weight on top of you. This is no good, and it can be dangerous, right? So thank you, Henry. All right. So now from here, we have all the way, we bridge properly, or all the way up, and we create a domino effect, right? And now from here, I'm going to turn towards the camera, towards you guys. So that means I need to look ear to shoulder to the other side. Ear to shoulder, right? Ear to shoulder, and then look over my shoulder, right? So ear to shoulder, I had to think about it. Ear to shoulder, then look over to the opposite, towards the opposite shoulder, right? Okay. Now from here, I'm going to hip escape. Now, the hip escape, there's so many things you need to really focus on. It really looks like an easy movement, but it's really tons of detail, right? But again, it all just boils down to is, can you keep a frame, right? And the frame is the knees, the two hips, right? The two shoulders and the two elbows, right? So that's the frame, okay? So from here is, so when I rotate, okay, it's gonna look like this. I'm gonna just do it once so that you guys can see, right? 1, 2, I look, right? And I'm going to turn. You see I'm on my shoulder. I'm turning the entire frame, right? I'm reaching and I'm tucking to my side, right? Okay. So this is what the finished hip escape is going to look like, right? But to do it properly, or to do it with connection and proper weight distribution, angle change, and leverage, it's not so easy. It is simple, but it's not so easy. So it takes a lot of practice and a lot of focus, right? So what am I doing? Well, on the right side, right, this knee, the right hip, the right elbow, and the right shoulder are all trying to tuck under, right? See that? So everything is this side is trying to pull. Think of it like pulling, right? So my entire right side, all of it is trying to pull. Well, if that's the case, if I'm a frame, then my entire left side is trying to push. So that, because it's a one unit, right? So it's one big, like a rectangle, one big cube. So it wants to turn. So when this right side pulls, the left side wants to push, right? So this left shoulder, left elbow, left hip, and left knee, they all want to turn, right? Okay, so when you do this, okay, you want to make sure that when you do this, you pull the left side of the frame and you push the left side of your frame so that when you do hip escape, everything moves as one unit. So you see everything moving together, okay? Don't try to just from here, don't try to pull your elbow under and tuck. See, the rest of my body hasn't caught up. So this means I'm not a frame, right? So I'm trying to pull or I'm trying to push this side, but nothing else is working together. So that means that I'm not a frame. So you got to do everything together, right? And this requires you a lot of focus, right? So so when you practice this, okay, make sure that you really feel, right, the entire frame working together to turn. Now you see everything now is my left foot, okay, my left ball of my foot and my right shoulder, okay, I feel a connection here now, right? This is the number 2 line, right? So this is good. So now I'm going to keep rotating, okay? All right, and now I'm completely to my side, right? Okay, I've tucked under my elbow. You see is really tucked far underneath my body. You see my legs are at 70 degrees, just like my arms, okay? I don't want to do is extend these legs to go completely straight. Now they're straight. Okay, some people do this, but I don't like this because now somebody can either smash your legs and pin them, right? So now I don't have connection to the ground. It's really difficult ground. Okay? So I like to keep 70-degree angle in my legs when I hip escape. Okay, and now I feel I can grab the ground, right? And it's not so easy now to pin my legs, right? Okay, I have a frame to support my legs, right? Okay, so this is the position I'm doing now. One of the keys is when you hip escape, for me, is the pushing side. You got to be really careful because I talk about moving as a frame all the time, but just like when you punch, okay? If I punch, I only want to punch. I basically make my fist and I put it into my elbow, so my elbow becomes my fist, right? So when I punch, all right, I only punch to the extent of my elbow. See my shoulder? See? So you don't see my shoulder following my hand. It just stays in line with my elbow. Now, if I focus on my hand and I push my hand out, look at my shoulder now. When I start to do this, you're going to see my shoulder start to leave the frame. It wants to stretch. And now you see it's pulled away, just a little bit away from the socket, right? So now my arm has left my frame. Now it's basically just arm motion, okay? It's left the part that's really supporting the arm, which is the body frame, right? So this is no good. So just like we don't want to push our hand, because if we focus too much on the hand when we punch, then we tend to pull the shoulder out of socket, right? Okay, and now we're not a frame. This is no good. So, what you want to do here is that when you go like this and you take the top arm and you dive like you're diving towards your feet, right? So I bridge, right, and I tuck my head, protect my neck. Then I'm going to turn and bridge. Now, when I do this, right? See this arm, the left arm? It's reaching towards my feet, okay? And this is going to help me to push, to get that feeling of pushing the shoulder. But look at the shoulder. If I focus too much on the hand and I dive, then my shoulder starts to come out of the socket, okay? Just like the punch. And then if I land in this position, if I'm able to get to this position, and there's a lot of weight on top of me, now that weight is going to push down into my arm and in my shoulder, and it's going to be so hard on my shoulder once I get to this position, because basically there's no more frame at this point anymore. So I'm going to get a lot of stress into the top shoulder, right? So this is no good, all right? You can really hurt yourself, especially if there's a really heavy person on top of you. So what you want to do is, how do you avoid that? All you want to do is from here, okay? When you hip escape, punch, reach, punch with your elbow, not with your hand. Focus on your elbow, trying to reach your feet. If you do this, see, look, you see my shoulder doesn't want to pop out. Once I push with my hand, now you see my shoulder pop out. See, no good. So stay in your elbow. Pretend your fist is your elbow and reach towards your feet and tuck. Now I'm a frame. So now if there's a weight on top of me, my shoulders are lined up so that it can carry the weight from the top and dump it into the bottom. So it's going to go straight through now, okay, and not affect my shoulder so much, because it's part of my frame now, okay? So again, when you hip escape, make sure you focus on these things, right? So you bridge properly, right? You create space over the shoulder you want to roll by ear to shoulder, and then looking over the opposite shoulder, right? And then you're going to now tuck the entire right side, right, of the frame, which is knees, hips, elbows, and shoulder, and you're going to reach and turn the left side. But when you reach, you're going to make sure that you only reach with your elbow to the feet, to the toes. Okay, got it? And then you finish, right? You finish with a nice 70-degree angle on the legs, right? You see I'm still off my hip here, right? Okay, and then my arms are still framed in front of me, or I'm sorry, this elbow is going to dive, and you do that just to help this shoulder to turn. See, because when you reach with your elbow, see, the shoulder is going to follow you, right? And that's going to help you turn that frame. Okay, got it? And so you really want to practice that. There's even more detail. We're going to go over some more. There's so much going on in these two basic movements. Okay, this shrimp movement. But I just want you guys to be able to practice it without any pressure, without anyone on top of you right now, or any pressure, okay? And then next time what we'll do is we'll show you how to use a partner at certain, and help them, and have them pressure you at certain points so that you can really feel that connection, okay, in your body. Don't forget, connection is 3 parts. Connection inside your body, your skeletal frame, okay? And that part I call perfect skeletal alignment, right? That's the connection inside your body. Once you have the perfect skeletal alignment and connections in your body, then you connect that to the ground. Then you can get connection to the floor, right? Okay? Through you create through your skeleton, you create what like a lightning rod effect, which is energy comes in at any point and it goes straight through your skeleton without any resistance, and it goes straight into the ground. So that's what you want, right? And then with those two things, you can finally get connection to a partner, okay? And so the connection to the partner is the least important out of the 3, right? But it is still important to learn, obviously, right? But the connection in your body, connection to the ground is first and foremost the most important, okay? So keep practicing, and we're going to continue to investigate this movement, and I'll see you guys soon.